It's going to be a long, long, hard year as the world falls through a hole of dark and fear. Hey, look outside, our life is lost and gone. Please stay at home till everything has been done. And I thank you all for being there for us in need. All the doctors, nurses, cops, the hands across the seas. I cherish all these gifts you give so free. At least now I can show how much that means to me. So this time of our life, with this virus in the air, I do what I can do, I say thank you. And this time of our life, we need to stay at home. I do what I can do and say thank you. This song is written by the freeze we face, in the wrong time, at the wrong place. By chasing chances, some of us went wrong, as greed becomes a speculator's song. So this time of our life, with this virus in the air, I do what I can do, I say thank you. And this time of our life, we need to stay at home. I do what I can do, just say thank you. For you all who keep the world turning, with this virus in the air, what else is left to do but say thank you. For the nurses, grocery clerks who cannot stay at home, there's nothing left to do but say thank you.
And you speculators, stop the party of the big short.
Our lives change like the weather. Some songs to forget, but this song is forever. So this time of our life, with this virus in the air, I do what I can do, I say thank you. And this time of our life, we need to stay at home. I do what I can do, just say thank you. For you all who keep the world turning, this virus in the air, what else is left to do but say thank you. Thank you for the doctors, the nurses, the supermarket workers who cannot stay at home, we say thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Champagne Sundays with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Happy Sunday, everybody. It is April 19th, 2020, and we welcome you to a special edition or special episode of Big Blend Radio Champagne Sundays show. Today we are raising a glass to community spirit, to positivity. We are going around the world and across the country. Today we're airing live from the beautiful historic Homestead Inn in 29 Palms, California, right outside Joshua Tree National Park. And we're here. We've been here for a little bit under the quarantine of this coronavirus. And if we're going to have any place to land for the amount of time we've been, definitely we recommend Homestead Inn. Check it out, 29inn.com. Now, we started the show, Nancy, with what a beautiful song, right?
Mm-hmm, I love it.
It's called Thank You, and it is recently released by Leslie Mandoki, and he is Hungarian. And, hey, Nancy, we're Hungarian, too, right?
Yes, we are.
We're Hungarian.
With
and
a little dab of this and that and that and that.
We're Heinz 57.
Yes, that's it.
Leslie is the mastermind, an amazing jazz rocker, singer, right? And the mastermind behind the Mandoki Soulmates. And when you listen to the song, you can definitely definitely tell there's a lot of soul, there's a lot of heart, positivity, and also reality in there. I encourage you to go to his website, mandoki-soulmates.com, and also get the album through Clio Records. You can go to cliorex.com and find it there. Also watch the messages from the Soulmates and from Leslie on YouTube, and you can also stream the video, the YouTube video there. But first, we're going to start off the show with him and bring on, this is our first segment, which is all global. So we're calling him, talking with him in Germany. So welcome, Leslie. How are you?
Thank you for having me, and I would like to say hello to everyone who is listening now. This is a crazy time we are going through. It's very challenging, and I hope for all of us that we are learning the lesson now. For a better me, for a better us, for a better unity.
And better planet, too. That's part of the message I love of your songs, and, watching the video with you and your soulmates talking about we also have to look at nature, right?
Absolutely. Also to generation justice, because we have to think of that we are going through a dark tunnel right now, but we have our children, we have our great children, grandchildren. So let's think of the nature, let's think of the next generation, and let's fix what we have made wrong.
Absolutely.
I love that. Love that. Tell everybody, who are the Soulmates?
The Soulmates actually was, I was, as a young kid, as a teenager, very much influenced by my dear friend Ian Anderson of the mastermind of Jethro Tull and Jack Bruce of Cream. And I was the rock and roll voice of the student opposition in the communist time, and I escaped through a tunnel because my father, on his deathbed as I was 16, said, "Boy, you should live your dreams and you should not dream your life." So I escaped, and I was meeting an American officer at the refugee camp in Germany, and he was asking me, "Hey boy, what you really want to do? You are 22, you escaped communism. What is your dream? What is your vision?" And I said I would like to play with Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull, and I would like to play with Jack Bruce of Cream and Aldi Mola. And so they, 29 years ago, exactly those were the founding members of the Mandoki Soulmates. And later on, Chaka Khan was joining in, and Dave Clint Thomas of Blood, Sweat and Tears, and the Toto guys like Bobby Kimball, Steve Lukather who played guitar, and and a lot of great jazz players. And then later on, the Supertramp guys like John Halliwell and Jesse Siebenberg came in, and the voice of Manfred Earthman, Chris Thompson joined in. So we became a kind of huge collective of jazz rock and progressive rock. And just recently we released our new album, Living in the Gap and the Hungarian Pictures. But this very song, Thank You, is just had to be written because we are all sitting in our isolation, especially me, because my wife is a doctor. She's a frontline worker. And the way she is dealing with the patient right now, and life danger actually, as a first responder, as a doctor, actually her heroic work was inspiring me to the song, and I called all my friends. And so normally we are gathering in my studio by the Lake Starnberg nearby Munich, but now in this time everybody was doing it remotely, and we had to do it because the message is very important in these times to say to the people who are at the front line, the doctors, the nurses, the supermarket workers, the cops, everybody who is making our life, the world turning, like you do on your radio show. It is very important also to say thank you to the journalists who are, feeding us with real news. And so thank you for everyone who keep the world turning. We just kind of in isolation and our quarantine in our studios around the world, and that's what this song is saying about thank you for everyone who keep the world turning.
Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think music is keeping us going, and so is nature, going on walks with your masks on, right, and staying your distance. And I think music and nature have really, and the arts have really helped us, and photography. And, I've got travel writers on the show, and I know that all the photos they're posting and stories they're posting, even if they're not traveling right now, has inspired us to keep on looking forward. Leslie, before we bring our next guest on, what are you raising your champagne glass to?
I'm raising the champagne glass for a better me, for a better us, a better unity, that we overcome the primary of greed, and mindfulness should be the torches leading us through this tunnel. And I wish everyone stay healthy and recover when you got it. And I'm toasting with a champagne that this crisis shall be a chance to build a better world around us. I'm more solidarity, more unity. That's why and overcome racism forever, and anti-Semitism. We should overcome. We should fight the evil of racism, and we should respect nature's voice right now. And that's why I'm raising my champagne for a better world.
I love that. I love that. Speaking of a better world and a world, this is the global segment of the show, and so we're going to apparently go swimming because our next guest not only is a brilliant guitarist and amazing, one of my favorite songwriters too, is James Saunders over. He's right near Cape Town in South Africa, our old homeland. Beautiful, beautiful South Africa. And I remember, Nancy, what the tourism slogan in South Africa when we were there. What is that? A world in one country.
That's right.
And James is over there, and you can go to his website. It's jamessaundersmusician.com, and that's Saunders. James, hoe gaan dit met jou?
Ja, gaan baie goed, dankie, Lisa. Alles reg hierso.
That's good. How are you doing? Because we're watching you do balcony concerts out there. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's something I thought let me try because, this the lockdown that we have here in South Africa I think it's one of the worst in the world. It's one of the it's one of the strictest in the world. I mean, we're not even allowed to go out walking. So
wow.
we're not allowed to. And all my sports that I love, swimming and paddle skiing and fishing and all the things that I love to do, I just can't do it at the moment. So I'm left to make the best of what I do have, and I have a balcony, and I have all my music equipment with me. So I decided, well, let me try this out, and I put everything on the balcony and started doing concerts for everybody in the street. And the response was so incredibly awesome the first time I did it, and I thought, well, I'm going to make this a once-a-week event. And I've been doing that, and now more and more people come out and they sit on the roof and they get their sundowners and their picnics and their blankets, and they sit there for an hour or two and they clap and they cheer and they give me standing ovation. So it's just such a wonderful spirit, that is shown by everybody. Has such a great solidarity, and I've been having a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And I hear you've got a new album or new track coming out. And we're going to play Wheel of Destiny today, a great song. But I know we're going to talk about your new song coming out as well. But before we get on to our next guest in England, what are you raising your glass to?
Well, I think in the same vein as Leslie, in a sense, I would like to raise my glass to I'd like to call it the recuperation of the environment and nature, which seems to be happening a lot. We have animals wandering into the streets, and it just feels like the world is breathing. If I can find a positive out of what's happening at the moment, in spite of all the negatives, it feels like nature and the world is able to breathe again. And that I'd like to definitely raise my glass to that, and then also just to mental fortitude and strength, for all of us, that we may see ourselves through this time and come to the other side and be better people for it.
I love it. I'm with you. I'm raising my glass to Mother Nature, breathing in all the wildflowers. We're in the desert. It's beautiful. Nancy, what are you raising your glass to?
Well, I like to raise my glass to the little bit of a swipe we took at the stock market. Thank you very much. It's about
Leslie.
time Leslie. Somebody said, really the greed.
Yeah.
Because, in school you're taught it's a smart thing to invest in. And they leave out the fact that when you get something for nothing, it's always at somebody else's expense.
Mm. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for saying this. That's why we have to overcome the primary of greed, and mindfulness should lead us through this.
Yeah, agreed. Now we're going over to Norfolk, England, in beautiful East Anglia, to our good friend Glenn Burrows. He's a family historian. He is the tour owner and leader of Norfolk Tours in England, and normally at this time of year he's taking people around, showing them what they want to see and do. Everything is bespoke. Everything is custom created for your pleasure, what you want to experience in England. He's also a longtime guest on Big Blend Radio magazine, Big Blend magazine contributor, And go to his website. It's norfolk-tours.co.uk. Glenn, how are you doing?
I'm sitting in my dining room looking out at the birds and a couple of lovely cherry trees in full blossom. And the sun is shining, and I've got a beautiful blue sky, so it's
awesome.
beautiful.
What are you toasting to today?
What am I toasting? Well,
with the cheese
I think
scones.
everyone's already...
Got cheese scones. I know he does.
Oh, well, I haven't got any on me. I haven't got any on me at the moment, I'm afraid. What am I toasting to? Well, it's the same old, really. I mean, but for me, the people who I really appreciate are the people who are keeping the world moving. And I know that, the doctors and nurses and the supermarket workers and everybody are all doing what we need them to do. But, we've got so many people who are working behind the scenes. I mean, this afternoon, my wife and I spoke to both of our children and their partners and our grandchildren on Skype. And that wouldn't be possible if people weren't working and keeping the internet running, keeping the phone lines going, keeping everything ticking over. And nobody thinks about the people who are in the background, and that they are the people who are keeping this working. I mean, for Pete's sake, I'm sitting in my dining room and I'm talking to people in California, people in South Africa, in Germany. It's amazing.
Canada, Florida. Yeah, it's awesome.
It is absolutely amazing. And, it really, it's those people who are letting me do that today I would toast.
Well, and also, Glenn, I toast to you because, when this all happened, it was a big downer for everybody. It's a scary time economically. I'm looking at, Nancy and I travel full-time on our Love Your Parks tour, and, now we're kind of halted here at our friend Jerry's at Homestead Inn, and she's been very kind, and she's had to put up with us. I mean, we owe her lots of champagne. Lots of champagne. There's not enough for it. But, we stopped. Your tour company has had to stop. But you turned things around immediately into doing videos, teaching people how to do their family history. And this is a really good time to dig into your family history. I know our next two guests are into family history, especially Hungarian history. But, this is something we have to change up our pattern. We can't be stagnant.
We do.
Joan Baez, my favorite quote in life from Joan Baez is, "Action is the antidote to despair." And I think, we started the Big Blend community on Facebook, and you're one of the first people to join. So if I raise a glass to that, because all the people joining us there. But you turn that around. And so the videos people can see on YouTube and Facebook, right?
Yeah, I will be uploading it to my website when I've learned how to do that. But it is exactly it, isn't it? It's always in the times that it is really, really bad that things happen. And the only reason I'm self-employed and I started my business is because I had a series of nervous breakdowns, and I was in a mess, and my doctor told me to do something I love. So I started my business because I had nothing else I could do. I was sitting up the corner, rocking backwards and falling and crying my eyes out. So it is the time when you think that everything is as bad as it can be, and you have to do something different. Well, my business, like a lot of tourism businesses, this year has completely been shot to pieces. I have not got a business, so I have to do something else. And what else can I do? I can help people trace their family history. And although I'm no good at Hungarian family history because I don't know anything about it, my first video will work for people in Hungary as well as it does in any other country in the world, because it's all about relating to what you know about yourself and what your family knows about yourself and your own family. So it will work in Hungary, it will work in Canada, it will work in America, it will work everywhere in the world, because it's all about asking yourself what you already know. But
and we're all connected.
It's always, well, exactly. But it's always the bad things in life that make us do something else. And then we learn that actually it's not as bad as we thought it was.
That's right. That's right. I want to go to Canada. We're going to go chat with our friend Judy Cohen. She's a world traveler to over 90 countries, over 6 continents. We're proud to have her as one of our newest contributors in Big Blend magazines. In fact, on our site, our Parks and Travel magazine, the current one out now, you can go to nationalparktraveling.com. We have a Locals Insider with her, and in the upcoming issue coming out late next week is in our Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. We have a special feature coming up with her India story. You can go to her website, Traveling Judy, and that's Judy with an I, travelingjudy.com. So welcome back, Judy. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Lisa and Nancy, for having me on the show.
I know. This is so cool. I know. I was like, hey, you got to come on here. We got a party, man. So, and I know you're a big music lover, right? So you're a big music lover. You're into travel. You're into history. So this is like the perfect show for you. And who knew it would turn Hungarian, right? So because you grew up speaking Hungarian, didn't you?
I did. I grew up speaking Hungarian. And I must say that, Leslie, I loved your song that we started out with. I thought that was incredible. And Glenn, I am so moved by your words and by your experience and how you got doing what you're doing. And just the whole thing about action is an antidote to despair. I mean, that is so true. And I think that there's going to be a lot of good that will come out of all of the trials and tribulations that we're all facing.
I agree. Where are you, Judy, in Canada?
I'm in Toronto.
Aha.
Oh, lovely.
And very multicultural, right?
Very multicultural. It's a wonderful, wonderful city. We've got a great music scene here. We've got a great arts community under normal circumstances, and it's a beautiful melting pot of people from all over the world.
Yeah. What are you raising your glass to?
Oh dear, I'm raising my glass to, and we've heard all of the big things that I really agree with. I must raise my glass to all of the doctors, the nurses, the personal services workers, the essential service workers that are out there, and my family and friends has got to be my first glass that I would raise. And then I would also raise it to the leadership that we are seeing in a number of countries, in particular in Canada. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has just done a remarkable job of providing information, leadership, hope, and guidance throughout this whole episode in our lives.
That's wonderful to hear. Every country is different, and I don't want to get political, and I won't start.
No.
I'm moving. I know. Don't get me started.
I don't want to get political either, but I think that some of the leaders have shown tremendous leadership in this time, and people wait for that and need that at this point. I also just want to say, Lisa and Nancy, that I also raise my glass to the scientists all around the world that are working tirelessly on developing a vaccine. And I hope and I pray that they will find success soon for all of us and that we end up with a better world in the future from all of this.
I agree. So you're doing a lot on social media right now, posting photos and making us really dream about and plan about where we're going to go next. Is that part of, now, being a travel writer, being stopped in our tracks, we kind of start digging into where have we been? Have you kind of rediscovered your adventures through this time?
I have, and I've spent a lot of time looking through my old photos and a lot of my old journals and really reflecting on how privileged I've been to be able to go to all of these places. Many of them I've taken for granted, and I've really started questioning myself, about do we take world travel for granted? And I don't think I will ever take it for granted again going forward.
I agree. Everyone, travelingjudy.com is the website, and we're going to go to our next travel writer. And it's interesting, Judy and our next travel writer, Diane Dobry, both of them we've met through the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association. And I want to give them a shout-out, talk about a community. This is an organization that connects travel writers and journalists and photographers with the destinations. And together I'm seeing so many positive stories from all the travel writers. You can go to ifwtwa.org. everyone's zooming and moving forward together, and don't cancel, postpone. Please do that if possible. I know some of us are economically may not be able to, but there will be a time you can. Let's keep tourism, responsible tourism, nature-based tourism, history-based tourism at the forefront. And food and wine, because I know Diane loves her food and wine too. You can keep up with her on her new blog, HungarianAquarian.com, because she likes astrology too. She might meet a new friend here today, right? She might pop out. You never know. With Diane Dobry, again, HungarianAquarian.com. How are you, Diane?
I'm doing well. It's a nice sunny day here in Florida, a little warm, but I'm grateful for whatever good is happening.
You know, it's fun to see you. I saw that you were teaching everybody how to cook soup, and so you've got into video making during this time and keeping your social media going and you know, stories and building a HungarianAquarian.com.
Yeah, that was what I kept thinking. Oh, I just haven't had time to do the things that I wanted to do and add to it. And then all of a sudden we're like in this shutdown period. And I said, oh, well, you know, I also teach master's degree students online at Full Sail University in Orlando. And one of the things we have to do is continue to learn as faculty members different skills. So I have been doing online classes, and I agree, we need to thank the internet, the people on YouTube and all these other online courses that are really helpful, because I was able to figure out how to do a recording of a story. I happened to be going through some old bins of my writing and found a travel story I had written that was pretty good, and I said, well, I never published it or anything, so I decided to do it as a recording, and it took me 9 hours, but I figured out how to do that. And now I'm doing videos of myself cooking at home.
Ah, see, this is we're all changing up, and I think we're going to find new tool sets, you know, doing this. And, you know, Diane, the one thing I wanted to touch on, you know, we talked about Hungary the last time on our show. I think it was actually a year ago. And we're going to play some Hungarian Hollywood history, too, from Steve Schneikert, who will be on in our second segment here. But Hungary, you lived in Hungary, and you were importing wine over. So what would you say is the perfect Hungarian wine for a champagne sundae?
Well, I don't import anymore, but I go to Hungary regularly, and I did live there. But they have a sparkling wine company, Turley, and that's just outside of Budapest. I passed the Turley factory, I guess you'd call it, or in
you can pronounce it correctly. It's called Turley.
Turley. Okay, thank you for helping me with that. Yeah, when I'm not in Hungary, I start to Americanize my Hungarian language skills, but I also have been practicing on Duolingo, practicing my Hungarian, language skills as well. So there's always something to do.
It's a challenging thing to learn Hungarian.
Yes, it's like algebra with words.
No, it is more like you dress upside down. What do you think you're going to say? You come out the other side.
Oh, yes, backwards. Mama Babushka's back. She pops up whenever she wants, you know.
That's right.
She'll tell you your fortune.
Call her Yoda.
Leslie, do you go back to Hungary?
Yeah, every now and then. So because I escaped the communist Hungary 45 years ago, 75, as a young boy and as a young musician, and I made my way. But my children, I was teaching them obviously Hungarian. So I always say that they're born in West, but they sort of they always say that we are Hungarians, although they were born outside of the Hungarian community. And recently I bought a little house by the Danube and an apartment in Budapest. So just that the kids, not so much me, but the children, they can find their Hungarian roots, and this is a true melting pot. We just learned about Toronto, and yeah, of course, everybody was in Toronto. It's a wonderful modern melting pot. But Budapest has some magic. If you think that Europe's largest synagogue is just about 400 meters away from Europe's fourth largest Catholic church, and it's very peaceful, very respectful. I mean, actually, this the only truly Christian Jewish country in Europe, and this is a very peaceful melting pot where all these culture is just melted together to something very special, something very respectful, and cultural is I'm not very often there, so every now and then just for a day. But my children are traveling and Hungary a lot, and they love it, and sort of I keep in my heart this heritage that I came from there, and sort of I took all my soulmates for all the British and American friends, and took to Budapest. Every now and then we play big concerts. Actually, we're planning to do August the 22nd, the big opener in Hungary. I don't know how much. I mean, what do we know about the near future? We don't know much about it, because we sort of week by week we learn about the shutdown, how we continue, how can we get back to normal, and I hope that we don't get back to where we were. So we're learning a lot about this, and I was very happy to hear from all of you that we keep an eye on nature even more and even stronger. And then if you reflect the fact that we can go back to our first revolution, as we were all teenagers, and we were kind of so naive today, but this tragical moment of the pandemic is teaching us that it's not naive to dream of a better world. It's not naive to build a better world, and that's what we should all do.
I agree. Judy, you've been to Hungary, right?
Yes, I have.
I
have.
Did you...
Not in a little while, though. I've been there. I was there about 20 years ago, and I have not been back, but I would like to go back there. But in the meantime, I am totally fluent in Hungarian, even though I was born in Canada. My parents taught us Hungarian, and it remains the primary language between myself and my 93-year-old mother. And so I practice it all the time, and I cook. And I found actually one of the interesting things for me is that while I've been in lockdown, and we're almost in full lockdown here, we can go out for walks near our house, but that's it, and shop once a week. I have taken to cooking. And Diane, very interesting, I have started cooking cholent and chicken paprikash and making all kinds of Hungarian recipes that I either had written down from my mother or I'm making up based on what I remember from how she made all of these dishes. It's an interesting time.
See how we're all connected? I wanted to go back to Glenn, because Glenn and his family history is very fascinating, because, you know, his whole journey of family history led him to Canada twice. And Glenn, did you get to Toronto?
Well, that's where my cousins live. I stayed in Whitby with one set of my cousins, just in Whitby, and the other ones live quite close by as well. And that was when you mentioned Toronto, my heart just went, because I love the city. It's such a beautiful, beautiful place. And my wife and I, we went into Toronto with my cousin and had a look round. And then the next day we took the GO train into Toronto city centre ourselves and had the day in the city. And we felt totally and utterly safe and relaxed. And in a city as big as Toronto, to feel really safe and relaxed for the day was really special, because in a lot of big cities you don't feel safe. But in Toronto, we felt totally comfortable. It's a lovely, lovely place.
Really nice. It's Judy here, and I'm so glad to hear that, Glenn. And I'm going to raise a toast on that note to having safe and travelable cities that we're comfortable in the future as well. All over the world.
Hey, listen,
Judy, I would like to add to it that that
Go
Budapest
ahead.
is a place where you can travel total in safety, and very respectfully for women, respectful for all, everyone, wherever you come from. It's just a very safe and friendly town.
I want to go to South Africa to James. How's Cape Town doing? Because I remember Cape Town being one of my. It's still my heart is Cape Town. You know, we almost.
Beautiful.
I know we've said this before on the show. We almost when Nancy had her magazine in South Africa, before we had to leave, because we needed to keep our passport. We know about moving like that, Leslie. But Cape Town, I was going to go open our second branch there. And, you know, people kept saying, you know, this is one of the most dangerous cities. And I'm like, what, man? Everything is beautiful. And, you know, there's, you know, Sitcom is nearby. You got Stellenbosch and the wineries. And, and there's every place has its side that you got to watch out for. But how is Cape Town? I mean, would you say it's safe or?
Well, you know, it's a very interesting one. I'm currently involved with what they call essential services because I supply medical equipment, and I've been doing that for a while. So I'm not, you know, obviously not a full-time musician who can't make a full-time living like that. So I'm one of the lucky people who get to drive around Cape Town at the moment. And when I drive around, honestly, it's like a ghost town. It's like going back to the 1950s. And in some ways, it's absolutely awesome. You know, everything's just quiet and peaceful. There's not this mad rush and traffic everywhere, and people, you know, sort of tension levels going through the roof because people can't get to their work on time or whatever the case is. It's like this absolute peace has descended on this town. So you can't help saying to yourself, well, this is you know, in some ways this is absolutely awesome. Of course, you know, it's not going to be like this forever, and it's going to get back to what it was. But my guess is, it's Cape Town in a very macabre way is very beautiful at the moment. It's you know, there's no pollution in the air. It's the mountain is still there. Table Mountain stands gloriously as she always has, and it's a beautiful city to be in if you can sort of get out and about. And as I say, I'm lucky enough that I can drive with this.
I want your permit.
I've been watching those webcams where they're showing in some of the parks now that there's no vehicles. The lions are all out sleeping in the pavement, going, "I love the sun."
Yeah.
And there's no cars. You pee.
Yeah, and the coyotes are running wild in the streets of San Francisco right now and howling in the streets.
Yeah.
And I think that is so awesome.
That's awesome.
You know, and this pollution lifting is really good. But on that note, it's time to play Spontaneous, the Song Game. It is an award-winning, best-selling board game you can get on Amazon. And this is a good time, you know, to play board games with your family and connect. And we love Spontaneous on the show, so we're going to play the radio version. And check it out online, songgame.com. So what it is we're going to go around in a circle and each give us one word, and you're supposed to take that word and sing 5 words from a song that contain that word. So, Nancy, I'm going to give you the word bubbles.
Tiny bubbles in the air. I hope it's the air.
Well, after my chili the other night, it might be.
Tiny bubbles in the air. I know there's a tiny bubble. That dude on Lawrence Welk sang it.
Okay, so that's your basic idea here. So let's start with you, Leslie. I'm going to start with you, and then you're going to give a word to James. So, Leslie, your word, you got to get 5 words in a song, is love.
Oh, my love, this is the summertime. This is the summertime where we all make love, and even 69. So, actually, this was the first word I have learned in English, and I didn't know what it is. So, and I was singing it as I was 16. I had no clue about what I'm singing because the only foreign language what we learned in communist time was Russian. So I spoke only my mother tongue, Hungarian, and I was singing along, and I didn't know what it is unless an American traveler came up and was telling me this by trying to drone it down. But I get the word, so what about the wonderful word for great music, justice?
Justice. Ooh, go ahead, James. Ooh, good luck on that.
Ooh. Do I have to find five words in a song with justice in it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, this is, wow. Leslie, you gave me a very difficult one there.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to get the clock out too, because James. I have to tell you, Leslie beat me to the clock. So here it is. I'm going to get the clock out. You got 10 seconds. Are you ready?
Justice is the only way to go forward.
Did you just make that up?
That's good. Hey, that's what
I
all
go
about.
for it.
It's a very famous song by. No, to be honest, I made that up.
I'm letting it be because I think that's a good one. I think you need to write that down and keep it. Keep that.
Keep it because Generation Justice is next to Mother Nature is the most important torch what is going to take us through this dark tunnel of the pandemic. So we just have to keep this word in our mind for the next generations.
I love that. I love that. So James, you get to give Glenn a word.
Okay. What about breath?
Breath, like in taking a deep breath. Okay, Glenn. Glenn, off you go.
Breath. Every move I make, every breath I take.
I'll be watching you.
100%.
Exactly.
In fact,
that's
exactly the song. That's exactly the song I had in mind.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah, I knew that.
You did good.
We were connected.
You did good.
And
I sang it. I know. Awesome. I was like, dude, go Glenn. Yeah.
Of course. Come and Sting. What the songwriter actually? Wow. The center right. Yeah.
He's cool. I love Sting. Okay, so Glenn, you get to give Judy a word.
Happiness.
Ooh, I like that. Go, Judy.
Happiness. Not love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. Happiness. I'm looking for happiness.
Okay, Judy.
Happiness.
Wait. Okay, you get to take a drink.
So that's funny. Happiness just went right out of marriage.
I'm not going to butt pan you. Normally we butt pan people on this show, but I'm feeling we're too much in the happy zone here. So what if you do the word happy? Okay. Are you ready? Go. Happy.
Happy times are here again.
That's cool.
Because she's doing Hungarian cooking again. I vote that. I vote that in. Okay. Judy, you get to give Diane a word.
Diane, your word is respect.
Ooh,
that's easy. RESPECT. Find out what that means to me.
Yeah, some Aretha. Yeah, suck it to me.
Fabulous Aretha Franklin, sure.
Yeah, Aretha Franklin. I toast to her, man.
Yeah.
We got to listen to some of her music right now for sure. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us. We're going to play a song from James. It's called Wheel of Destiny. Then we're going to get into some Hollywood history. But James, before we all go, tell us about the new song, because apparently you were swimming in your Speedo across the cold waters to Robben Island, and this is where the song comes? I didn't know men still wore Speedos.
Well, in cold water.
In cold water. That's dicey, man.
Yeah. No, this is... She was, my producer, Wayne, had told me that, we used to talk about my extreme swimming. It was a few years ago when I did extreme swimming. So I would be taken out to Robben Island and jump in the water and swim back to shore, and with a Speedo on. In other words, the whole point of it is that you've got to be able to endure the cold water, which is sometimes down to about 12 degrees. And so there's no wetsuits allowed. And it is a sport here in Cape Town that quite a lot of people do. And depending where you land up, you're swimming anything from 7 to 12 kilometers. So it's quite a long way. And when you're out there in the ocean, you feel very small, and you go through these troughs and crests, and you half the time you can't even see more than a meter in front of you. And if you're on the crest of the wave, you can see the shore, which looks very, very far away. So it can be very daunting, and it's a huge mental challenge. I mean, it's just one massive mental challenge. You're very tiny in this vast ocean, and you're swimming to the other side. You're completely out of your comfort zone. You're afraid. You've got to fight panic. You've got to stay strong mentally, especially mentally. And so I thought I would write a song about it, which I did, and I think I posted it earlier on your community page. And that was just a live, it hasn't been studio recorded. That was a live version that I did a couple of days ago. And anyway, but the point is that it to me, it's sort of, it relates very strongly to the period that we find ourselves in now, because I think we've got to learn to keep our mental health. We've got to keep our minds strong in the situation. We've got to be able to see to the other side. We've got to be able to pull through it and just conquer the dragons that attack us in our mind, and keep positive and stay strong. And so, although I wrote it initially for swimming, I think it has a message for this, for what we're going through now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's called Open Blue Water.
Thank you for calling in again from South Africa. Everybody, JamesSaundersMusician.com. We're going to play Wheel of Destiny. I want to thank Leslie Mandoki for joining us. Leslie, again, the album, he's got a double album out now, so go to his website and check it all out. It is mandoki-soulmates.com. He's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those places. But the song now is Thank You. It's through Cleopatra Records, but you go to cleorex.com. It's on YouTube as well. I encourage you to go and follow Leslie over there. So, Leslie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and let's stay healthy, and wishes for each of us and for the whole world a better day very soon as we through this horrible times.
Absolutely. Let's all stay together. Thank you, Glenn, for keeping us all connected with what you're doing with family history and doing these videos. Again, everyone, keep up with Glenn. Just go to glennradioandtv.com, but also his website, norfolk-tours.co.uk. Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks you, girls, and thanks everybody else for connecting. And it just proves how small the world is if we all just get together and have a little chat like this. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Judy, over in Toronto. Everyone, keep up with Judy at travelingjudy.com, especially on Instagram, man. She posts all kinds of cool photos. It'll just tell you how beautiful the world is by following her. So, again, Traveling Judy, it's Judy with an I. Thank you for joining us, Judy.
Thank you, Lisa and Nancy, and thank you, everybody else.
Judy.
I feel a lot less isolated right now. So thank you.
Oh, let's party.
Oh, let's party down. Thank you, Diane. It's been a real pleasure hearing your voice, and congratulations on HungarianAquarian.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, everybody. Here it is, Wheel of Destiny by James Saunders. And stay tuned. We've got Hollywood Hungarian history, and then we're going across America with more spontaneous fun and champagne toast. So here it is, Wheel of Destiny.
You're sinking sweet and slow beneath the horizon. I see you disappearing in the haze. You're sliding in and out of this dream, just a fleeting glimpse, never the same.
The story seldom has more than one part. Just a long and winding road back to the start. Like a curtain call that brings me to the fall. Just one look before I'll fade away. Fade away. 3, 2, 1.
What shooting stars may fall for these wishes heaped upon that shore beneath the sea of memories. I'll find you setting free my wheel of destiny. My wheel of destiny. Of destiny. Fading, fading, fading to the night. You're fading, 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 fading to the light. You're fading, fading to the night. You're fading, fading to the light. Into the light.
Everyone, again, that was Wheel of Destiny by James Saunders over in South Africa, and you can keep up with him at jamessaundersmusician.com. And as soon as his new song is out, we're going to have to get him back on the show. And now a toast to Hollywood history of Hungary. We've just had, Judy, Diane, Leslie, all with a connection to Hollywood, a little bit of that, Hungarian history and family history. Glenn having connections to Toronto history. I mean, it's pretty crazy how we're all connected, right?
Absolutely.
So here's Steve Schneikert with his Hollywood history segment, toasting Hungarian producers. I need some champagne. Here it is. And then we're going to be going across America. We're going to have some more music with the Bayou Brothers. We got some Cajun Zydeco music coming up. And Nikki Chris over in North Carolina with her song Together We Stand. So a lot of conversation and good stuff coming on. But here it is, a little Hungarian Hollywood history. See, I could say it.
There is a famous saying in Hungary that states, anywhere you go in the world, it's sure that you will find Hungarians there. This is especially true for Hollywood. At least it was during its classic era. The foundation of the American film industry was born from the contributions of Hungarian immigrants. I could introduce countless Hungarians who work or worked in the Hollywood film industry, but unfortunately, I only have space and time to mention a few. Hungarian-American motion picture executive and producer William Fox was born in Hungary 1 January 1879. His parents, Michael and Hannah, were both Hungarian Jews. The family immigrated to the United States when William was 9 months old and settled in New York City. With tireless energy and prescient vision, Fox put an indelible stamp on the form and content of American motion pictures. It was Fox who laid the foundation for the Hollywood studio system by launching and largely paying for the U.S. Department of Justice antitrust lawsuit that in 1915 formally dissolved the monopolistic Motion Picture Patents Company. After that, anyone could legally make movies. When World War I broke out, Fox led worldwide expansion of the American movie industry. Previously a prosperous New York area exhibitor and distributor, it was difficult to figure out how exactly William Fox became so successful so quickly as a movie producer. Fox began making movies in mid-1914, and in early 1915 formed the Fox Film Corporation based in New York. Within a year's time, he had catapulted into the industry's front ranks and was turning out one feature film per week. During the 1920s, Fox developed sound-on technology, which remains the industry standard, gave important early career breaks to directors John Ford and Howard Hawks, built a chain of palatial movie theaters, and made what is widely considered to be the greatest silent film, 1927's Sunrise, starring Janet Gaynor and George O'Brien. A true believer in the American dream, who longed to overcome his Lower East Side slum background, William Fox craved respectability and was very proper, old-fashioned even, in his personal conduct. He had only one wife whom he loved devotedly, and he considered religious faith to be the wellspring of his worldly success. Born in Hungary, 7 January 1873, Austro-Hungarian Adolf Zukor was orphaned by age 7. He was sent to live with his uncle, Kalman Lieberman, a rabbi who hoped Adolf would follow in his footsteps. Zukor knew from a young age, though, that he was destined for the world of business. Like hundreds of thousands of Europeans at the time, Zukor followed his ambitions to the New World. He managed to get himself to New York by the age of 16. In 1892, he and a friend, Morris Cohn, went to Chicago, and together they opened their own fur business. Their business became a success, and he and Cohn moved their company to New York in 1900. In 1912, Zukor embarked on a partnership with Broadway producer Daniel Frohman, and together they secured the U.S. rights to show the French-produced film Queen Elizabeth, starring one of the day's biggest names, Sarah Bernhardt. The partners targeted a wealthier clientele than those who frequented the Nickelodeons, seeking to create an event with cachet. Their investment paid off when New York's social elites attended the premiere at the Lyceum Theater on 12 July 1912. Adolf Zukor was one of the first people to make big profits in the movie business. He realized that the three elements of the film business, production, distribution, and exhibition, were financially dependent on each other and could be increased by opportunistic mergers. Zukor's ambition would propel him to the leadership of one of Hollywood's most powerful companies, Paramount Pictures. In 1935, Zukor became Paramount's chairman. He continued to foster the growth of a media empire. His contributions to the film industry earned him an Academy Award in 1948. In 1976, the former immigrant, self-made fur merchant, Nickelodeon investor, and film business pioneer died at age 103. Michael Curtiz was a Hungarian-born American film director, recognized as one of the most prolific directors in history. Already a well-known director in Europe, Warner Brothers invited Curtiz to Hollywood in 1926 when he was 39 years of age. He directed over 100 films during his Hollywood career, mostly at Warner's, where he directed 10 actors to Oscar nominations. James Cagney and Joan Crawford won their only Academy Awards under Curtiz's direction. He put Doris Day and John Garfield on the screen for the first time and made stars of Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland, and Bette Davis. He himself was nominated 5 times and won twice, once for Best Short Subject for Sons of Liberty and once as Best Director for Casablanca. Curtiz helped popularize the classic swashbuckler films such as Captain Blood, 1935, and The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938. He directed many dramas which today are also classics. Angels with Dirty Faces, 1938, The Sea Wolf, 1941, Casablanca, 1942, and Mildred Pierce, 1945. He directed leading movie musicals, including Yankee Doodle Dandy, 1942, This Is the Army, 1943, and White Christmas, 1954. And he made comedies with Life with Father, 1947, and We're No Angels, 1955. Curtiz even directed Elvis Presley in the film King Creole, 1958. If you are a fan of the classic Hollywood, you might have heard about director George Cukor, the master of romantic movies. Yes, he also had Hungarian blood running through his veins. His parents were immigrants from Hungary, but Cukor himself was born in New York. He directed such classics as The Philadelphia Story, Romeo and Juliet, A Star is Born, and My Fair Lady, for which he won the Golden Globe and the Oscar for Best Director. Cukor is also known for playing a huge part in Katharine Hepburn's rise and success. I would like to dedicate this special segment of Hungarian Hollywood history to Hungarian-born actor Bela Lugosi, whose most famous film role was that of Count Dracula in Dracula. I'm Steve Schneikert, and this is Hollywood history as I recall it.
Where's Hot Mama Babushka for that?
I want to suck your blood.
Oh, very nice, Mama Babushka. Everybody, the great Steve Schneikert, and very excited. We're going from around the world to across America, and we're going to start our next segment here on Big Blend Radio's Toast to Community here at the Homestead Inn in beautiful 29 Palms, California, right outside Joshua Tree. We're going to start with Steve Schneikert himself. So welcome, Steve. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you, ladies?
We're doing wonderful, and a toast to you and your awesome Hollywood history segment.
Yeah, that was great.
You rock, dude.
Thank you so much. That was a privilege to do.
You know, how the connections of everybody on the show today with this was amazing, right? All the Hungarian history and family and cooking and music. I mean, it's amazing, the connections. So it was just a great way to connect everybody there. But I want to ask you, how are things hanging in San Jose?
Hello.
Had to ask.
Things are hanging well here.
Very good.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah. What are you raising your glass to?
I'm raising my glass to you, Nancy, for this wonderful, wonderful show. It speaks joy. It speaks happiness. It speaks promise. And I'm also raising my glass to the first responders. I'm raising my glass to my neighbors who've come to my door or text me or phoned me to want to do things for me during this time, during the pandemic. And also, I want to toast that wonderful and beautiful song, Thank You, at the beginning of the show.
By Leslie Mandoki and the Mandoki Soulmates. Isn't it amazing? Amazing song. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect start to this show. I want to play it all the time now. I love it. I love it. And you know what? Speaking of toast, we want to toast to Jerry Hagman. Jerry Hagman is the owner of Homestead Inn here, and she's retiring. She's our good friend who invited us here to come see her after we haven't seen her, for 6 years. And we're still here, and we want to thank her and give her like 10 bottles, 20 bottles of champagne for not only putting up with us, but happy birthday, Jerry. Welcome back to the show. How are you, Jerry?
I'm fine. I'm doing just great. And I wanted to comment to Steve that I enjoyed that information. You know, I'm a Hollywood buff myself a little bit, but I certainly don't have the knowledge you do. But I really enjoyed because I didn't understand about Fox. That's fascinating. My God,
thank
that guy
you, Jerry.
had a lot of guts.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, a happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Well, we've been having a very nice time toasting, and even Priscilla has been celebrating with us.
Oh, she loves celebrating.
Well, everyone, Priscilla's our pink sock monkey. She travels the country with us. She's our travel mascot, and we're worried that she's drinking all the wine because we have a wine tasting session coming up after
and
this.
She also wears Speedos.
Yes, just for James Saunders, the musician. So, what are you toasting to, Jerry? I mean, when you think about it, your birthday, the fact that you are going to sell this beautiful property, right?
Well, I'm hoping that somebody will come along and really love it and appreciate it for the many years that I have. But anyway, I wanted to go ahead and toast to the beautiful array of desert flowers. I've been out in the desert for years, and I've never, ever seen so much beautiful color. And the air is clean, and the desert is just sort of got such a wonderful vibe, and it's just wonderful to come out here and wander. And, we have the 20 acres, so we can just wander around.
And we do.
Yes, we do.
We do. We want to thank you for, putting up with Nancy and I and Priscilla and everyone. Check out where we are. It really is beautiful. It's 29in.com, and this is such a unique historic property with all these side buildings, rooms, guest suites. It could be a retreat. It could be a recording studio, an artist haven, all kinds of things. A bed and breakfast, obviously.
Got
that's what
a great kitchen.
And there's a lot of, we want to raise a glass to all the military out here. They're wandering around outside here, so we raise our glass to those young bucks all the time.
Young men.
Yes. So we're going to go we're in San Jose with Steve, and then we came back here where we are in 29 Palms, and now we're going to go up the mountain to Big Bear to our friend Chef Mary Trimmins. And Mary has a shared history. Hey, she's right here.
There she is.
Do you have your champagne, Mary?
I have a glass of wine.
Well, there you go.
Very good. Very good. What are you pairing it with? Because she's a chef. Got to ask.
Well, I'm making what we call must-go soup. And you really just go into your refrigerator and pull everything out and throw it in a pot. And I did the first tasting, and it's kind of close. I'm trying to get some flavors in there, but it's hard when I'm not at the grocery store.
Right. Well, do you have snow still?
Yours is fine.
Yeah, she knows how to cook. Everything she knows about innkeeping. You teach students cooking, right?
Yes, I taught at the La Quinta High School for 4 years, 9th through 12th graders, and just to share some of our success stories. One of my culinary students just graduated from the Naval Academy. He was there just as an interim student making credits to finish his career. Graduated from the Naval Academy. One of my other students who is very challenged with a lot of autism and a lot of things of that nature, just graduated from 2-year college at COD in Palm Springs. Cool. And a lot of my students are at the Hilton, the Marriott, the Hyatts. They're all sort of hanging on with their careers right now, but they took everything that Chef Oscar and Chef Reese and I did and moved forward with it. Incredible people to work with.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You know, what are you raising your glass to? Your students or?
I am raising my glass to Jerry Hagman.
Yay.
I met Jerry 25 plus years ago when we were struggling innkeepers, fighting IRS, the health department, the insurance companies. Everybody was all secret and snippy about information. And I met Jerry, and here we are. And happy birthday, Jerry. I'm sorry I would do
Thank you, dear friend.
A couple of years ago, but today, no dinner, honey.
Thank
you. Right
Mm-hmm.
on. Well, yeah, I toasted Jerry, too. We're going to give her lots of toasts because, again, putting up with us, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
We all have crosses to bear.
I know. Oh, God. I know. Listen, we're going to stay in California, but we're going to dip into San Diego. Another good old friend of ours, Rick Lee, the drummer from the Bayou Brothers. I mean,
oh, wow.
I mean,
cool.
This is just, our hearts are so happy. Rick, how are you?
Just fine. Just hanging out in San Diego, waiting for things to get going again.
Oh,
yeah.
We miss
you.
So
it's great to hear from you. We haven't seen you for a while, but are looking forward to it.
Oh,
cool.
Man. How's Karen doing? How's the band?
Karen's just fine, and we have a puppy named Lovey, her first dog, a little Min Pin that's quite a pistol. And the band is doing just great. And we had a great summer plan, but all the gigs, they didn't cancel so much as they just postponed, so we're looking forward to that. We have a couple road trips in November, one to Modesto, and then another one out by Tucson, Green Valley Performance Center.
Nice.
Oh, well, we
so hopefully by November, they'll have some kind of program with safe, with social distancing that we can still perform. So,
yeah.
Anyway, maybe play out in 29 Palms. You never know.
You never know.
Hey,
I mean, you guys,
why not?
And you've done some world tours too, you know, and gone to Europe quite a bit, and you know, it's just like it's amazing to just see you guys. We miss you guys in your live performances. You put so much energy into your shows, and you make everyone happy. I think your music, definitely makes us all want to tap our feet and remember there's good times. We're going to play We Gonna Party, but we're going to go travel around real quick and get everybody on our Big Blend tour bus here. But before we bring our next guest on, because she's riding a horse, and, horses don't want to sit around, what are you raising your glass to?
Oh, well, I'm raising my glass to you, Lisa, and your mom, Nancy.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh,
seeing you fine ladies again.
Oh, we miss you, man.
It's been a long time since we've been called fine ladies.
And I want to tell you, Rick Lee put me at ease. The first time I ever recorded a song was with Rick and Gemma, and I can't remember. It was a long, long time ago. I was so scared. And it's like Rick is the backbone as a drummer. He just kind of like, okay, you can breathe. You and Willie Kellogg.
Yeah.
Man, I don't. The two drummers, man, Willie.
They're mellow.
I know.
Willie, that's my big brother, Willie.
Yeah.
We love Willie. He played with Moby Grape and Flying Burrito Brothers and Johnny Hooker. You guys have all.
Yeah.
You've held down the San Diego circuit for
That's
years, right? It's Ronnie
well,
Lane and the
thank you, and
Sisters.
I'm still doing my best.
Oh, love it. Okay, so we're going to go giddy up to Three Rivers, California, where we're supposed to be right now, which is up in the Sequoia country, right outside Sequoia National Park, and world champion horse trainer Christy Wood is here. Christy, how are you?
Well, good morning and good afternoon, and to everyone that's listening. How are you, Lisa and Nancy?
We're good.
We're raising a glass. Shocking.
Well, well, so am I.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh.
So am I.
I
am raising my mimosa to everyone,
Ooh,
especially to you and yes, to Lisa and Nancy. Thank you so much for Big Blend Radio. I also want to lift a glass to Steve. I enjoyed that history of Fox.
Wow.
The movies in the history of the movies. I love that. That was wonderful. Just wonderful.
Thank you so much.
And you're welcome. Matter of fact, I'm watching Turner Classic Movies all weekend. I'm at the In-Home Film Festival since we can't be in Hollywood to enjoy that. So I really enjoyed your rendition of that. I'm also lifting my glass to spring. In order after this pandemic, even riding a horse, it has slowed me down a little bit to stop and truly smell the roses and look at the new leaves coming out on the trees of the oaks in the foothills here of Three Rivers near Sequoia National Park, and all the wildflowers, even the fiddleneck and the wild ones that we don't like that much. It's just the hillsides are covered in gold and yellow with the poppies, the wild mustard. It is just fabulous. So I am toasting the spring.
Oh, it's awesome. That's awesome. And everyone, you can keep up with Christy. Go to her website. It's woodenhorse.com. Wood and then the letter N. Woodenhorse.com. And I want to bring some of our other guests on here because we're going to go cross country now. We're going back east on the Big Blend bus, and we're going to stop in Pennsylvania. Well, we're going right outside of Philadelphia to chat with Tina Kraus. And Trina Kraus, I said Tina. Trina got Tina on the show. We got it's Trina Kraus. I've got Tina Turner on my mind for some reason,
Well, bend over and take your tail
we went
feathers.
to Europe today, but Trina Kraus is the co-author of an amazing memoir. It's called Explosions of Joy, a memoir of the grief counselor for missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. We had Trina on the show, a year ago, maybe a little longer, with Paul Yin, and this is just a really, it's a heartwarming story and something that resonates right now with everything we're going through, and you can go to their website. It is explosionsofjoy.com. She's also a teacher. So Trina, I promise to get your name straight. Trina, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you back on the show, and you're also teaching, so that's a whole different deal right now, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, yes, yeah. And that is what I'd like to raise my glass to today. All my fellow teachers who suddenly find themselves doing virtual learning 100%, which is a different thing.
For sure. And how is Paul doing? Because wasn't he in quarantine at some point in China?
Yeah, he's in Beijing. I think he said they still have some lockdown in place in Beijing. They're kind of like the U.S. is planning to do. They're unfolding slowly based on the different traffic patterns, their international travel going in and out. So yeah, they still have some things in place that they're doing. Yeah.
Wow.
But he's doing well. He published something, a free ebook in Chinese to offer some counseling services to everyone who was affected in China, and that was distributed pretty widely. Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, toast to Paul. What are you toasting to today?
Oh, definitely my teacher friends who are hanging tight. I also thought I could toast to the Homestead Inn. I'm convinced that my future travels include a trip to 29 Palms. You've got me interested.
Oh, cool. Great. Come on down, right, Jerry?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I can't wait to meet Jerry.
Thank you so much.
Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool because you and Mary teaches, chefs, up-and-coming chefs in school, and you're teaching, students as well. So we got two teachers, which is always good. I think really a glass has to be raised to all the educators in the world for sure because it is a different time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine teaching my class from home, though. It's like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do that. It's hard because I think teachers have to look at their particular situation, the specific students that they have. Like I had a student who sent me a quick email, and he said that he only has limited data on his cell phone. His family, his house doesn't have internet access. So I have to keep things like that in mind when I'm planning how to address each of my students, And then I have some who have full capability, full availability. Both parents are at home available to help them. But then I have students whose parents are essential workers and they're gone all day. So it's a lot to consider when I'm planning my lessons.
Wow, good for you. Toast to you, man. You need a case. You need a case. I want to bring Nikki Chris on the show. Nikki's over in North Carolina. She's our final destination, but she's been on our show for many, many years with her amazing singing and songwriting skills. You can go to NikkiChris.com. It's NICKIKRIS, NikkiChris.com. And, hey, Nikki, you should have been on the global part, too. We've done a lot of those segments with you. But welcome back. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I am well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We've got champagne, friends, sunshine, desert wildflowers. We've got this beautiful Big Blend community of friends. I mean, this is amazing, and good to have you back on the show. With you being over in North Carolina, is it all kind of shut down, or are you able to wander around?
We're shut down. You can go outside, obviously, to do some exercising, things like that, and they have they're allowing, I think, tennis and golf, because easy to social distance that way. But primarily everything else is closed. Limiting how many people go into grocery stores and so on and so forth. So we're pretty locked down.
Are you writing music?
Yes and no. I'm it's one of those things because I'm very, very conscious of I don't want to write anything. I hate to use the word sappy, but I'm just I'm kind of in that mode where I'm expecting that a lot of, I would say, emotional type music is going to come out of this, and I don't want to write that. So I'm almost purposely steering away from, sad melodies. I'm really looking at upbeat, funky rock, trap, pop stuff, because I want happy stuff. I'm trying to steer away from all of the sad type of music. So, yes and no. I'm playing. I'm doing a lot of playing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to play Together We Stand today at the end of the show, just as a really good reminder to everybody, which is important. Nancy, what you saying?
Yes. I was going to say you could write a song for high school dancers. You know how the teachers used to say a yardstick away? So it's just double yardstick music.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Yes. I'm going to try and invent a little dancey type tune or something like that, because I just want I want to focus on upbeat, happy.
Yeah, I like that. What are you raising your glass to?
So I'm raising my ruby red grapefruit seltzer. Decided to be all natural today. So first to Jerry, happy birthday. Don't know you, but have a wonderful day. To you and Nancy, obviously, Lisa. Excited to be back on, so I really appreciate that. My buddy Steve, I haven't talked to him in so long, so I'm excited that he's on the show.
And you know I love your music.
I know, and I love you too. You're always so good about promoting, and that's awesome. And then I actually want to toast, take a page out of Steve's book, but the first responders and everyone who's working really hard in keeping our hospitals open, and our grocery stores open, and making sure that everybody can get what they need, and then taking care of the individuals that are sick and need to be taken care of. So I'm going to toast all of them.
Right on. Here. I'm with you on that. And there's, I love the positivity side, and that brings me back to you, Rick, with the Bayou Brothers. I mean, that's really the Bayou Brothers, Cajun Zydeco out of San Diego. And Rick, really has been holding the fort of, the backbeat of San Diego for years. Really, it's about joy, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, you go to a Bayou Brothers concert, and your feet, you're dancing. I mean, it's just it's nothing but a party.
Yes. Well, we try to keep it like a good old Louisiana backyard party.
Yeah.
I'm ready to party again.
Okay, well, we're going to. Okay.
Me too.
You know, my parents are from New Orleans, and so I appreciate the Zydeco a lot.
You can't beat a second line beat. You can take any song in the world, turn it into a good Cajun tune or a second line New Orleans, a Nolans tune.
Exactly.
And that's where it's at.
Well, we're going to play "We Gonna Party" because we may all be closed in, but we can bust out at the seams on the inside. That sounds weird, but we can still tap our toes and boogie around. We can shake our tail feathers, what we call wiggy button. So here it is. There's wiggy button and squat dancing, right? You know.
I'm
Rick,
thinking when all this is over, we'll call it, "Finally, we're all going to party."
Don't you think New Year's is going to be the biggest New Year's ever? Like going into...
It's going to be huge. Oh, my God,
it's like 21. 21, it's like when we all turn 21. It's going to be 2021.
Hey, can I do one more toast?
Then we can just start over all over again.
Yep.
Of course, Nancy, you're the mother.
Oh, okay, I would like to toast the truckers. Don't forget, people, if it weren't for the truckers, there would be no food in the grocery store. So I want to toast the truckers.
Yes, and
besides, I like them.
And I'd like to toast Anne-Marie Italian Wines for getting us the wine that we have to taste today for an interview we're recording on Wednesday. Just to say, if it wasn't for, I would like to toast the Postal Service and all of the deliveries, because without wine in the world, where would we be?
Sad.
Yes, wine and music. So everybody, it's time to party. So here it is. We're going to party from the Bayou Brothers. And Rick, tell us about what album this is on.
This is from an album we did a few years back called High Roller Zydeco. And we recorded it here in San Diego.
And who tell me who's in the band right now? For everybody to give a shout out to the whole band.
John Chambers, you know Johnny.
Yeah, John, the man.
On accordion and keyboards.
I love John.
Our bass player, Danny Basscat Perez, I met him doing some session work and invited him to join the band, and he's been a great contributor, and he does a lot of the arrangements. Jack Stevens plays guitar. And we still have Sister Judy playing rubboard. My daughter was a rubboard player, Jessica Lee, but she moved to San Pedro. It was a little bit of a long way to go for gigs for her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we still play with her when she gets a chance to come down.
I remember with her little kid. She had a little baby at the time, like years ago. I'm talking about now. That's
Selena.
Little baby's not a baby. Yeah, not a baby no more.
No, she's a grown woman now. She's not a baby. I don't know how that happens, but yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm 65, but upstairs I'm 19, baby.
Oh, I didn't say Lee. I said Lisa.
Yeah. Not Rick Lee. Rick Lee is young. He's young. He's young like the sun.
Talking about you. I was talking about Lisa.
Well, Judy. So Judy, now do you still play with Michelle Lundeen? Ever like?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're still we're still in business together, and she works with us sometimes, and I play drums for her, and she's just terrific.
She's awesome. She rocks. Don't mess with her. Cool. And Rick Lee and the Bayou Brothers, this is a connection back to you, Mary. Rick Lee and the Bayou Brothers played in the Julian at the Blues Bash. Now, Rob Bauer, he played his last
time
last
gosh.
year, and toast to Rob Bauer. But, yeah, I mean, we used to live in Julian now. Mary used to have Butterfield Inn bed and breakfast. I mean, now we going down and down the memory alley here. But Rick Lee.
Oh, Butterfield!
Oh my gosh,
really?
a long time.
Yeah, Butterfield. You know Butterfield? Yeah.
Sure. I'm a San Diego local. Who doesn't know Butterfield?
So I probably have run into Rick's band. There was a New Orleans style restaurant over, I think in La Jolla or north of PB. I can't remember the name of it, but we used to go in there all the time because we went in there for red beans and rice. Ooh, yummy.
Yeah.
Ooh, we love red. Now listen, Ed and Don Glass, we raise a glass to you too, because you know what? They're awesome. They're our fellow wine friends, and also Ed has got the music. Man, he knows music too. He really does. He really does. But here it is. We're gonna play it. We're gonna party. Stay tuned, everyone. We're gonna play Spontaneous when we come back, and we're gonna chat a little bit more. And we're gonna play Together We Stand by Nikki Chris. So here it is. We're gonna party. Keep up with the Bayou Brothers. Go to BayouBrothers.net. Here it is.
Time to get on the floor and go for what you know. With your snapping toe tapping, no time for joy yapping. 'Cause we're a party, we like to party hard. Or you can do the slide, or you can jump back and hop. We're gonna party till they turn on the lights. We're gonna party till they tell us goodnight. Well, you can do the shove, or you can do the slide. You can do the two-step, or you can do the sway out. Well, you can wiggle your hip, or do the outlaw dip. Let your backbone slip. Come on, don't be a trip. Hey, we're gonna party till they turn on the lights. We're gonna party till they tell us goodnight. Well, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry. Like a crawfish. You can do the tango or the disco duck. Oh, you can rock in your seat. I'm talking heavy beat. 'Cause when I get down, you just watch the clown. We're gonna party till they turn on the lights. We're gonna party till they tell us goodnight. Well, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, well, don't worry.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio's Coast to Community show, and this is all part of our new Big Blend Facebook community. Just type in Big Blend Community on Facebook and come and join us, join the conversations, the party, the fun. And you just heard, we're going to party, and that's what community is about, man. There's all kinds of parties, and it could be a learning party, but that was from the Bayou Brothers over in San Diego, and we're so super happy to have Rick Lee from the Bayou Brothers, the drummer, back on our show. Rick, man, I'm ready to party. What are we eating? What are we eating? Red beans, rice? What's cooking?
We'll have to have a big party out in 29 Palms.
Okay. Jerry, can you organize that?
Sure.
I'll come out
we
for
even have
that.
a place for the band. We have a place
Yeah,
for the
that
band.
would be great.
Yeah. Hey, we got it. Chef Mary, can you come and help us?
I can do red beans and rice. Killer. That's my go-to.
Right.
Oh,
on.
yeah, I love that. You can
Right
live on that.
Right on. Oh, I love this.
And the
so you know,
inspire them.
I think so. You know, so I love what this is all about, everyone getting together and having a good party. I want to go over to Trina because, you know, we're having a good time. We're going to play Spontaneous after this. But, Trina, Explosions of Joy with Paul Yin, I wanted to touch base on this because there's a documentary coming out over the memoir and his story. Can you give everyone just a quick overview of who Paul is? Because I think right now, if we read Explosions of Joy, we'll feel some hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Yin was essentially the person who kind of behind the scenes opened China up to the field of psychology. Even in 2003 when SARS broke out, he was trying to help offer counseling to people who were struggling through SARS. I mean, even just the fear of getting it as it was airborne, as you know right now that we're dealing with. SARS is the first version of COVID, as far as I understand. But he was trying to offer counseling to people, but it wasn't government sanctioned in China. If you can believe it, it's that new over there. And Paul Yin finally, even after SARS, convinced the government to sanction counseling, and he, along with John Maynard and Brenda Blair, trained the first group of employee assistance program professionals and started to get businesses to use the employee assistance program in China. So it's eerie almost to read the section in Explosions of Joy about SARS because it's almost reading something that was written a couple years ago, but it's about what's happening now in the States. It's interesting.
It is eerie, but it's also it's interesting. That's Jerry's favorite word, by the way. But it's it's something to really get about what's going on, and also know that you can move forward through things and be diligent and understand mental health. I think he really put mental health on the map for China. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And the book was primarily written to talk about MH370 and that tragedy that occurred. But the part of that chapter that really speaks to me now, and I think would speak to readers of this book, is there's a little section called anastasis, which is a Greek word meaning, it actually means to rise up, like as if from a seated position. And in that section of the book, he's talking to a woman who lost someone on MH370, and he and she sort of decide together in their conversation that it's time to rise up and it's time to move forward. And that doesn't mean that things are all better, and it doesn't mean that you're back to normal. It just means to progress and move forward. And I think that's a really comforting thought. It's encouraging, and I think if readers read through this book, Explosions of Joy, they'll find that sentiment throughout the book, where it's this idea that, yes, you have a tragedy, which to me right now, this pandemic is a tragedy to a lot of us in a lot of ways. I mean, there are some positives, but it's definitely impacted everyone. And there comes a moment when, and it's a mental thing, you need to decide to rise up.
Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. And Nikki, you have a whole song called Rise.
Yes. I was just sitting here going, oh, wow, that word sounds familiar.
Yeah, and yours was for women.
Yeah. So, I mean, I originally wrote mine as a response to the Kavanaugh hearing, kind of encouraging women to step up, speak up, come together, vote. So, yeah, I mean, it actually is a pretty forceful women's empowerment song, but I also tend to promote it and push it as just a general empowerment song because even though it was written in response to what was going on in the country at the time, I actually think it makes sense, in various aspects of even today what's going on. You could conceivably use the words in there to encourage rising up for other reasons at the current state we're in.
It's same old gets you same old, and at some point when you're tired of same old, you rise up.
Yeah, and that's
exactly.
the thing is you can't. You have to make your own decision to rise up. It has to come from now is my time. One thing, talking about rising up and doing something, Christy, I want to bring up your campaign where you raise funds for an all-terrain vehicle for veterans. Here we are in 29 Palms, one of the largest Marine bases, and we have men all around us, Christy. I'm just saying. But men who serve, and we always want to raise a glass to those who serve because their life also goes on as we're going through all of this. But tell everybody about the all-terrain wheelchair. This is an amazing campaign.
Well, yes, I have a heart for wounded veterans, for the ones that have served and have sacrificed a great deal in returning. And the all-terrain wheelchair is a connection through the independencefund.org in South Carolina. And this track chair is an amazing chair that will give a wounded veteran their mobility once again. If they were a hiker, an avid hunter, someone that wanted to manage 10 acres of oranges, this track chair will take them anywhere they want to go. So it's a tough campaign. They're $16,000 each, and my heart has been there for the last 4 years, and now I'm going on my second campaign to raise money for a second one, which has sort of come to a screeching halt now because we do that with car washes and yard sales and some fundraisers that we have. And, of course, we can't have those with everybody being isolated in their home. But we are collecting items, and that's working out well. But we need to empower these young men, again, to have hope. And, Nikki, I just wanted to tell you, if you want to write a song, maybe that's the word you can focus on is the word hope. Because there's so much hope still. We still look ahead. Yeah, we still look ahead now to hoping that the pandemic will be over with, and hoping that less people will die, and hope for our veterans when they come back. And this track chair gives a wounded veteran hope.
Nice.
I love that, Jerry. That's got to resonate. Being here in 29 Palms, resonate for you with all the veterans.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I appreciate the whole vision of being able to help the veterans, because some of my guys who have stayed with me repeatedly, they come and go, but a lot of them come back to me because I do extended stay for military. But let me tell you, some of them come back and their lives are somewhat shattered. But because of the relationship that I've had over the years with them, I've always had an open door policy where they can come in and sit down and talk to me and share. And I really have such respect and love for our veterans and all of our military people, because sometimes people have no idea of the sacrifices that the family makes, along with the person that is enlisted, the parents, the mothers, the children. There's a lot of sacrifices. And right now with this lockdown, the Marine Corps base here also feels that. So, this community of 29 Palms is a very small community, and we are, just right next to Joshua Tree National Park. But I tell you, the veterans and the military are a big part of our community, and it's been impacted like everywhere else. So we all feel it, and we all have love for the military and we all can share with trying to help move forward. And I love the idea of making them capable of being able to have a wheelchair or an apparatus that will give them whatever is necessary for them to either go out, like you said, in the orange groves or climb rocks or whatever they want to do. And I appreciate so much what you ladies both are doing. So thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you to Lisa and Nancy for helping out too with the National Parks tour.
We're still coming, Christy. We're just slow. I can't help it. You know, the virus.
I know.
need a baseball bat to take
All
out the
the
damn
time.
virus.
We don't give up.
I know. I'm still waiting for you to come to North Carolina.
We're coming. We're coming.
There.
Hey, listen, we're going to have our dinkies in the park, okay? I got our Portofino wine thing ready. We're coming. I don't know if Christy will let us bring our Portofino backpack with wine on a horse. I don't know, but we'll see.
We might.
Christy's cool. Listen, Christy, if you're going to go horse riding, you go to Christy because she will get you connected with the horse and calm, and it's one of the best experiences.
Magical horses.
Really, and out in the sequoias, you can't beat it. But it's time to play Spontaneous, one of our favorite games to play on the show. I know Steve, we can't beat Steve. So what it is, we're going to get, each of us are going to go around and give each other a word. I know. We're going. Is today the day to stump Steve? No.
Oh no.
Right.
No, we can't. But we're going to play. We're going to give a word, and you got to come up within 10 seconds 5 words from a song, and it has to have that one word in it. So I always like to start with Nancy.
Oh.
And so Nancy, so everybody knows how to play. Nancy,
I'm the guinea pig.
Your word is. You know, because we're talking about, men walking around in military uniform and things, and we like to watch firefighters and all that. So your word today is shoulders. Go.
Oh, my God, shoulder to shoulder. Oh, what is that song? Give me some men who are stout-hearted men. I think that's now
We're on the right track.
What about John Denver? I thought you would do that.
Oh, Sunshine on My Shoulder, that's a good one.
Makes you happy.
For you. But I was thinking more because there's men walking out here, and I'm like, hey, look at that.
Oh, I could give Nancy the word sewer.
I sing the song of the sewer. Of the sewer, I sing this song. Together we stand, shovel in hand, to keep things moving along.
All right. So now,
very good.
Nancy, you get to give Rick Lee a word.
Oh,
give me that word.
A word. Just one word. Nature.
Ooh.
Nature. Okay. I'm blanking out.
Oh, guess who? Guess who?
Help me.
Guess who? Just think of guess who. There's a new
Mother
Nature taking over.
That's before our time.
Yeah.
Okay. Rick, you need to take another drink.
Tough one. Nature
I
was
refuse
tough.
to play butt pan on today's show, but it's not happening.
I'm glad
but
you're not.
I'm behaving. I'm being nice. So, Rick, you got to take another drink, and you get to give Nancy one back.
Uh-oh.
And make it difficult.
Well, how about blue?
Go, Nancy.
Oh. Blue roses for a red lady.
There you go.
Red
All right.
roses for a blue lady.
Now you be nice to Rick and give Rick a nice word.
Sunshine.
Go, Rick.
Oh, sunshine over my shoulder. Or
John
something
Denver.
like that. Yeah.
Makes you happy. Makes you happy. All right. So, Rick, you get to give. Let's see. Who are you giving a word to? You're going to give one to Jerry here in 29 Palms.
Okay, Jerry. Here's an easy one. Red.
Red roses for a blue lady.
There you go. Perfect.
I didn't even
Right.
get to play with my timer. My gosh. All right. And just, you little copycat. Jerry, this is dangerous. You get to give one to Chef Mary up in Big Bear.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Hey, be kind to me, Jerry.
Love.
I'm old, remember.
Yeah, love. That's my word, Mary. I love you.
What was it?
Love. Love, L-O-V-E. I did spell right, didn't I?
Oh, my gosh. I wanted shoulder.
Love, love, love. Oh. I'm doing a Rick. I'm drawing a blank.
But you just did it. You went love, love, love.
You do?
Love, love.
Oh, that's right. That is that song. Love, love, love.
Oh, by the Beatles.
All you need is love. Bop, da, da,
Love.
da, da, da.
That was an easy one. See,
All
Mary?
you need is love. La da 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 da.
All right. Mary, you get to give Steve a word.
Steve. Green.
Green.
Grease or green?
Green.
It's not so
Color green.
easy being green.
I love it.
Can't stump Steve.
My favorite person.
Oh, that's funny.
I know. Okay.
That was Hermit.
Hermit.
Yes, Kermit.
Hermit
It's
the
not
Hermit.
easy
Not
being
Kermit.
green.
Not
Kermit.
Sorry.
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog.
Okay,
Yeah.
Steve, you give Christy one. A word.
Occasion.
Be kind, Steve. Be kind. Be kind.
Occasion.
Oh my God.
Occasion.
Oh my gosh. Steve, that's mean.
You get to get him
Gosh,
back.
I've had too many mimosas. I've had too many mimosas.
You got to think musicals.
Yeah, that's me. Okay,
Yeah.
give one back
Think
to
musical.
Steve. A really hard one. We need to stump Steve.
Oh, that's mean.
Christy, give him
Oh, my
one.
goodness.
Okay, no. Here's
No,
one for
wait,
you.
Christy,
Morning.
Christy, give Steve one. Give Steve one.
Christy, morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mine.
In the misty morning, I will rise. I don't know where that came from, though.
Cool.
Very good.
There you
Christy,
go.
very good. That was well
Hey,
done.
you know, if that's not a song, someone should write it.
The morning has broken like the first morning.
Oh, what a beautiful morning.
Morning.
Yeah,
What
like
there
that.
you go. Very good.
Now listen, that's what
On a morning
Jerry.
like this, I could kiss anybody.
Okay.
I'm so
Wow.
full of love and goodwill.
Monday morning coming down.
All right. Oh, Nancy
There you
goes right
go.
to Chris
Yeah.
Christopherson. That's
oh boy,
that's her
we all
thing.
got wired this time.
Okay. All right, Steve. All right. So, Christy, you get to give Trina a word.
All right. The word is bay.
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 Bay?
B-A-Y. Bay.
Sitting on the dock of the bay?
There you
Sitting on
go.
the dock of the bay. I'm just going to throw the
Sitting
timer out
on
the
the dock
window.
of the bay.
Drinking mimosas every day. All right. Man, you guys, okay, Trina, give Nikki one.
Yeah, Nikki. Okay. Fight.
You gotta fight for your right to party.
Down, 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 down. Listen, the clock is just going to I'm going to flush it down the toilet just now. I am. I want to thank you all for joining us. Everyone, again, this is the first show that we're doing together as part of our Big Blend Facebook community. Come join us on Facebook under Big Blend Magazines or Big Blend Community. You'll see our group there. We also kind of revamped our Parks and Travel community yesterday because really it's about all of us connecting to move forward together, whether it's musicians connecting with a venue, an artist connecting with an easel. No, just kidding. An artist connecting with a gallery, whether it is everyone just having fun and games together, that's what it's about. It's about connecting, moving forward together because we must rise up, right? And together we stand, and that is exactly what we're going to close the show with. Everyone, again, we're going to go through the websites of everyone. We're going to talk to Jerry. Jerry is here in 29 Palms with her Homestead Inn, and you can go to her website. It's 29inn.com, so 29inn.com. Jerry, you're ready to retire now, right? It's home. Come
yes,
by
I
it.
certainly am.
That's it.
Yes, all we need is a buyer.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jerry, for having us here and also being part of our Big Blend community. Rick Lee, such a pleasure to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, ladies. It was a pleasure.
And keep us posted as the gigs come back on and we get to go party again with the Bayou Brothers. Let us know so we can promote and share and come back on a show anytime. Again, the Bayou Brothers.
Sounds terrific.
Yeah, you got to have to bring the whole band on. We'll have a whole party, and Chef Mary, maybe she'll make us red beans and rice. You do that, Mary?
That would be super duper fantastic.
That would be awesome. Everyone, keep up with the Bayou Brothers at BayouBrothers.net. Chef Mary, thank you for calling. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your time in Big Bear, and that, you've had so much snow that I hope the sun shines a little bit more for you.
Oh, my God, the day of sun shining, and the daffodils are blooming, and the birds are out, and there's no snow.
Right on. So, everyone, that was Chef Mary Trimmond. Thank you also, Christy Wood, for joining us over at Wooden Horse in Three Rivers, California, which we will get to. We're supposed to be there now, but we will get there as soon as we can, as soon as travel resumes. Remember, don't cancel, postpone. Do the best you can to move forward. Go to woodenhorse.com, wood and the letter N, horse.com. She's got great books on there if you're into horses, horse riding. She's got children's books, all kinds of good stuff on her website, too. So it's a good time to read and get ready to ride, right,
That's right.
Christy?
Right. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us again, everyone. Trina Krause. You can go to explosionsofjoy.com to get the book and also learn more about the documentary that is out called Dream. So keep up with that. It's going to be on Amazon, right, Trina?
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
All right. So everyone, explosionsofjoy.com. Thank you, Steve Schneikert. We love you. Big hugs.
Hey, love you ladies, too, and thank you for the joy and happiness that you brought to all of us on the show and to all of your listeners today. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
And extra peanut butter for Bella the dog.
That's right.
Got it.
Hi, Bella. I know. Hi, Bella. I know. And thank you, Nikki. Chris, always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll see you when we get to North Carolina, but we're going to play your song, Together We Stand. It's one of the most perfect songs to play on the show today, for sure. Together We Stand. You can keep up with Nikki. NikkiKris.com. That's NICKIKRIS. And it's off of her album, I Come Alive. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be back on the show, and I will let you know when I have new music out. And
We're ready. We're ready. Get on it, girl.
Yes, I am.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Here it is. Together We Stand. Thanks, everyone. Keep up with us at BigBlendRadio.com. Adios.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Stay
happy. Bye.
Faces and places I've seen before. Not sure what